everyone. Welcome to the online session of Basic Electronics. I am Ami Patel from LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. In this video, I am going to discuss different types of diode. We had already seen the basic PN junction diode in the first chapter of this subject. So we are going to see different semiconductor diode in this particular video. So let us begin. This semiconductor diode includes the pin diode, varactor diode and Schottky diode. So let us begin with the pin diode. Pin diode is a device obtained by sandwiching the pure intrinsic semiconductor that is shown with the I, that is in between the p-type and n-type semiconductor material, and that is why it is called the pin diode. Because we have p-type material, semiconductor material, n-type semiconductor material, and in between these two we are sandwiching the intrinsic material. Now this is the symbol. This way or this way we can represent the pin diode in any of the circuit diagram. So this is a symbolic representation of pin diode. If you are representing the normal PN junction diode, then you have to mention this as a pin. Otherwise, you can use this particular symbol. Now we will see pin diode construction, and in that specifically we will see the unbiased pin diode. That means if we are not connecting any DC supply to the terminal of the pin diode, then how it will behave. So this is a construction of pin diode. You can see this is a p-type semiconductor material, this is an n-type semiconductor material, and in between these two the intrinsic semiconductor material is being sandwiched. Now the terminal on the p side is denoted with the anode and terminal on n side is denoted with the cathode. Now you can see here two junctions are created. This is the junction 1, and that is between the p-type material and intrinsic material, and this is the another junction that we denote with the junction 2, and that is between this intrinsic material and n-type material. Now we have not applied any external DC source to the terminal of this diode. Then what will happen inside this diode, that we are going to see. As you all know that the p-type semiconductor material is having holes as the majority charge carrier, and the n-type semiconductor material is having the electrons as the majority charge carrier. So we can say that this electrons can easily move and holes itself cannot move, but if electron occupy its space, then we can say that ultimately holes are moving. And that is why what happens at this junction, that is intrinsic material and n-type material junctions, electrons are crossing this junction, and nearer to junction some of the region is created which is not having any mobile carriers and just having immobile ions. So this particular region is said to be a depletion region. But the same thing will not happen at this Pi junction, because here the holes are the majority charge carrier. Holes itself are not moving. That is why no carrier crossing will take place nearer this Pi junction. So we can say in the pin diode at the I, that is intrinsic, and n junction some depletion region is created because electrons are moving from n side to intrinsic side, and some region created nearer junction which is having just immobile ions. Now we will see if we apply forward bias to the pin diode, then what happens. You can see this is the p side, so this is the anode terminal, and this is the n side, so this is the cathode terminal, and we are applying positive of the battery to the p side and negative of the battery to the n side. Then what happens, as we keep on increasing this applied battery voltage, then the depletion region which is generated at this Ni junction is going to reduce, and at some point of time this depletion region will get vanished and the current will start flowing through the PIN diode. So when applied voltage reaches to the barrier potential of depletion region formed at the Ni junction, current starts flowing, and PIN diode acts as a variable resistance when it is in forward bias. So what happens? As we increase this applied voltage, the resistance offered by the PIN diode is going to decrease, as the current flowing through this PIN diode is going to increase, and that is shown with this characteristic which shows the variation of the resistance with the application of voltage and the forward current. As the forward current increases, the resistance offered by the PIN diode is decreasing. So we can say PIN diode is acting as a variable resistor when it is forward bias. That is why the symbolic representation is variable resistor symbol. Now we will see what happens if we apply the reverse bias to the PIN diode. Now you can see this P side is connected to the negative terminal of the battery, and this N side is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. That means we have applied the reverse bias to the PIN diode. Already you know, when there is no biasing applied, that means no external DC supply connected, at that time at Ni junction some depletion region was generated, and as you keep on increasing this reverse bias voltage, this depletion region width will get increased, and the maximum penetration of depletion region will be in the I region, because N is having the larger doping and intrinsic material is not having any doping. So in the reverse bias, this depletion region is present and it acts as a dielectric and it offers the capacitance. This is acting as a conducting plate, because both of this p-type and n-type material is having the free carriers, and this is just acting, I region is acting as a dielectric, and this offers the capacitance. Now this capacitance can be represented as C is equal to epsilon A divided by W, where W is the width of the depletion region. As the reverse voltages increase, the depletion region width is going to increases, and due to that the capacitance decreases till the intrinsic region is fully covered by the depletion region. And this voltage is called the swept out voltage, the voltage at which the intrinsic region is fully covered by the depletion region. So PIN diode in reverse bias provides almost constant capacitance. As the reverse voltage increases, the capacitance decreases is shown in the graph. So we are increasing the reverse voltage. Initially you can see over here in this graph, this is the diode capacitance. Initially the decrease in the capacitance is larger, but after application of this reverse bias, a very small amount of variation you can see in the capacitance, and this is in the picofarad. So it is 0.72, we can say almost 0.4 decrease in the capacitance, so which is very small in the amount. That is why we can say this capacitance remains almost constant. So it decreases from 0.7 picofarad to 0.4 picofarad. So very small variation we can see in the capacitance. So we can say that when the reverse bias is applied, almost constant capacitance is offered by the PIN diode. Now what are the applications of PIN diode? The PIN diode is used in the attenuator applications where the resistance is required to be controlled by the current. So PIN diode is forward bias and it is used as a variable resistor. DC control microwave switch. In Pin diode is also used in modulating device. Variable forward resistance is required in this modulating device. And pin diode is used as a photodetector in fiber optic system. So these are the applications of pin diode. Next we will see another diode, that is the varactor diode. So varactor diode is a PN junction diode whose capacitance is varied by varying the reverse voltage. We had seen in the previous pin diode the capacitance of the pin diode when it is biased in the reverse bias region remains almost constant, but it provides a variable resistance in the forward bias. Now if we want variable capacitance, then we have one more semiconductor diode, that is the varactor diode. Varactor diode is also referred as varicap, voltage variable capacitance, that is VVC, or tuning diode. So this is the symbol of varactor diode. This is the anode terminal and this one is the cathode terminal. So varactor diode is shown with this symbol in any electronic circuit. Now let us consider this is the PN junction diode and this is the varactor diode. So we are biasing this varactor diode in the reverse bias. So this is a P side, this is the N side. P side of this diode is connected to negative terminal of the battery and N side of this diode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. Then what happens? Due to reverse bias nearer to junction, the carrier crossing takes place, carrier movement takes place, and ultimately a region created nearer the junction which contains only immobile ions, and the capacitance offered by this particular varactor diode is given by epsilon A divided by W. So this is also referred as a transition capacitance, space charge capacitance, barrier capacitance, or depletion region capacitance. Now we will see the variation in the capacitance of varactor diode as we increase the reverse bias voltage. So this is the capacitance measured in the picofarad, and this is the reverse bias voltage which we are applying across the P and N junction. As we increase the reverse bias voltage, that means the negative voltage, then we find that this transition capacitance or the varactor diode capacitance is decreasing. So CT, that is the transition capacitance, decreases with increase in the reverse voltage. You can see the variation in the transition capacitance is from 80 picofarad to 20 picofarad, which is very large amount, and that is with the variation of voltage of approximately, we can say, minus 2 volt to the 15 volt, minus 15 volt. Now we will see the doping profile in the varactor diode. So there can be a two doping profile. One is the abrupt junction and another one is called the hyper abrupt junction. What is there in the abrupt junction? You can see this is the PN junction and this is the N type material side and this is a P type material side. So this semiconductor material is having pentavalent impurity and this semiconductor material is having trivalent impurity. So at the junction there will be a sudden change in the impurity level and the doping concentration remains constant. So this is a doping concentration that remains constant throughout the junction as well as the N type and P type material region. So this is called the abrupt junction. So as we go away from the junction, then too the doping concentration remains constant. Now one more type is the hyper abrupt junction. In this you can see this is the junction and we have doping level or doping concentration such that as we move away from the junction, then this doping level or doping concentration going to decrease. Now this is the varictor diode equivalent circuit. You can see this is the transition capacitance, this is the reverse resistance which is greater than 1 mega ohm. RS is the geometric resistance of the diode which is of the order of 0.1 to 12 ohm, and LS shows the high frequency limit associated with the varictor diode. Now application of varictor diode in the LC tune circuit is shown over here. So this is the LC tune circuit in which this is the inductor which is connected in parallel with the capacitor, and also one varictor diode which offers the C2 capacitance is connected in parallel. So these two are the two capacitor connected in parallel. So equivalence capacitance for this parallel capacitance will be C1 plus C2 as it is in parallel. Now resonance frequency of parallel LC tune circuit is given by 1 divided by 2 pi square root of LC. But now instead of just one capacitor, we are using the parallel combination of two capacitor, and that is C1 and one more is the varictor diode. So for this particular circuit, the equivalent resonance frequency equation would be 1 divided by 2 pi square root of L into the equivalent capacitance, that is C1 plus C2. Now what we are doing actually over here is we are connecting the battery across this varictor diode, and it will be such that this varictor diode is connected in the reverse bias. And as we increase the reverse bias voltage across this varictor diode, the capacitance which is offered by this varictor diode is going to vary. And as this C2 will going to vary, we can vary this resonance frequency. So this is how we can get the tune circuit using the varictor diode. Now these are the applications of varictor diode. It is used in the tune circuit which we have already seen in the previous slide. Varictor diode is used in the FM modulator, which the main reason is it provides the variable capacitance. It is also used in automatic frequency control devices. It is used in adjustable band pass filter as well, and in the TV receivers also the varictor diode is used. Now we will see one more semiconductor diode, that is Schottky diode. Schottky diode is a metal semiconductor diode with the low forward voltage drop and a very fast switching speed. So normal PN junction diode is having P-type material and N-type material, and in between these two junction is formed. But in the Schottky diode we have replace the P-type material with the metal, and we have the junction of metal and N-type material. Schottky diode is also known as the hot carrier diode. Platinum, chromium, tungsten materials are used as a metal in the Schottky diode. Why we need to use this Schottky diode? So for that, the conventional PN junction diode has the less reverse recovery time. Now we will see what is the reverse recovery time. Reverse recovery time is the time taken by diode to turn off from forward bias state. So this is a conventional PN junction diode which is connected in the forward bias with the battery, because this is P side, this is N side. And you can see what happens inside the semiconductor material in this PN junction diode. There will be a movement of carrier, and the majority charge carriers are moving and it is causing a current. Instantaneously, if we remove this battery, then what happens? So if we turn off the diode from the forward bias, then there is some time taken by this diode to turn off, and this is called the reverse recovery time, that we will see in detail. So what happens? The PN junction diode switch from forward bias to the reverse bias. You can see initially the PN junction diode was connected in the forward bias, and now we have connected P side to negative and N side to positive. That means we have reverse bias this diode. And due to this reverse bias, what happens? As there was large amount of carrier movement takes place in the forward bias, if we apply sudden reverse bias to this particular diode, then momentarily there will be a movement of carrier, and this movement of carrier causing a current even if we have applied the reverse bias, and then we find the current reduced to zero. So that you can see with the example of this half wave rectifier. This is a half wave rectifier circuit diagram shown. We have used the normal PN junction diode over here. Input, that is the sinusoidal signal, is applied, and output which we are getting is the half wave rectified output, because in the positive half cycle we are getting the output, but during negative half cycle the output becomes zero, as this PN junction diode is in the reverse bias. But now if we are applying the input signal of a small frequency, then there is no issue, because small frequency signal means what? The time taken for variation of input signal will be larger. That is why the frequency is smaller. So time period, this T time period is large over here, and due to that there will be enough time with the diode to switch from forward bias to reverse bias. So you will find the normal output when there is a small frequency signal. Now let us consider the high frequency signal. This is an enlarged version. That is why we can say this time period T is very small, and this is a high frequency signal, and due to that, in that what happens, the time required for signal to vary is very small. So when it switched from forward bias to reverse bias, for some time period there will be a flow of carriers, and that causing this tails on the negative half cycle. This is in the high frequency signal. So this tail is seen, that shows the carrier movement is still there even if we have switched from forward bias to reverse bias. This tails in the negative half cycle can be eliminated if we use the Schottky diode. So half wave rectifier with the Schottky diode is shown, and this signal is for the high frequency signal. That means this time period T is very small, and then too we will be getting the pure half wave rectified output. So during negative half cycle we are getting the zero output only. There is no current can be seen during this negative half cycle. So there is no tail on the negative half cycle. This is a problem with the normal PN junction diode when we are working with the high frequency signal. That is why the Schottky diode is used when we are designing the circuit for the high frequency signal. Now this is a symbol and construction of Schottky diode. Schottky diode is having two terminals. One is the metal side and another one is the N side. So metal side is the anode terminal and N side is the cathode terminal. Metal acts as an anode and N-type material acts as a cathode. Schottky diode current is due to the electrons only, because in Schottky diode metal is having free carriers, electrons, as well as the N-type material is having the electrons as the majority charge carrier. This is a construction diagram for the Schottky diode. So this region is the metal region. So this is the, we can say, anode region, and with this metal contact is created, and that is the gold leaf metal contact. That's why this terminal with the contact is the anode terminal. And you can see this is a silicon dioxide screen over here, and this is a junction, metal semiconductor junction. This is the N-type silicon material. Contact is created, that is a metal contact, and this is a cathode terminal. So this is a construction of Schottky diode. Now we will see the unbiased Schottky diode. This is a metal side, this is the N side, and we have not applied any external bias. That is why some of the depletion region is created. Now what happens? N-type material is having electrons as the free charge carrier, and metal is having large number of electrons as the free carriers. But the number of electrons in the metal is much more than that of the N-type material. That is why we can say the kinetic energy of the electrons which is present in the metal will be very small, because there is no space for movement. But N-type material is having enough number of electrons, and that is why there is a free space for these electrons to move, and that's why the kinetic energy of the electrons which is present in the N-type material is large. That is why large number of we can say electrons will be crossing this particular junction from N side to the metal, and nearer to junction some region is created which is having just immobile ions. So large carriers moving from N to metal side, that is why depletion region thickness in the N side is more, and this region is the space charge region or depletion region. Heavy flow of electrons from N-type material to the metal takes place, and it creates a depletion region. Barrier potential in the Schottky diode is around 0.25 volt, which is quite less than the normal PN junction diode. Now we are applying the forward bias to the Schottky diode. This is the metal side. It is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. This is N side connected to negative terminal of the battery. Then as we increase this barrier forward voltage, this barrier potential at the depletion region is going to decrease. And the forward current can be controlled by applied forward voltage. When this supply voltage or battery voltage is greater than the barrier potential at the depletion region, at the junction, the current starts flowing. Schottky diode in the reverse bias. This is a metal side which is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. This is the N side connected to positive terminal of the battery. Then what happens? When reverse voltage is applied to the Schottky diode, the depletion region width increases. As a result, the electric current stops flowing. However, a small leakage current flows due to the thermally excited electrons in the metal. Now we will see the VI characteristic of Schottky diode. This is for normal PN junction diode. You can see the cut-in voltage at which the forward current starts flowing in PN junction diode is at the 0.7 volt, whereas in the Schottky diode this depletion region or barrier potential is small. That is why the voltage, forward voltage at which the forward current starts flowing is 0.25 volt. Similarly, in the reverse bias region also for the PN junction diode, the breakdown voltage is larger, whereas in the Schottky diode the breakdown voltage is very small. The reverse breakdown voltage of the Schottky diode is very small compared to the PN junction diode. Let us discuss some of the advantages and disadvantages of Schottky diode. The advantages include the low junction capacitance, fast reverse recovery time, high current density, low forward voltage drop or low turn-on voltage, high efficiency. Schottky diode operates at the high frequencies. Schottky diode produces less unwanted noise than the PN junction diode. Now, few disadvantages include the large reverse saturation current flowing through the Schottky diode, and it gets heated up quickly in practice, low reverse breakdown voltage, and peak inverse voltage rating is less compared to the conventional diode. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of Schottky diode. Let us discuss some applications of Schottky diode. It is used to rectify the high frequency signal. A rectifier, half-wave rectifier example we have seen. In the radio frequency applications, that is radar system, also the Schottky diode used. That is for the high frequency signal operation Schottky diode is used. Schottky diodes are used to detect the signal, that is clipping and clamping circuit. In the digital computers, that is the logic circuit, also Schottky diode is used. With this, I am ending this session over here. Thank you.